I don't know what it is, but I cannot listen to John Stamos singing Forever without crying. It's absolutely beautiful. And I'd kind of forgotten just how wonderful that part of Captain Video Part 2 is. This is such a fantastic end to the 5th season of Full House. I'm getting quite emotional. This is the 26th episode of the 5th season, of course, directed by Joel Zwick. And as always, there will be spoilers from now as I go through the episode and share some thoughts, and I will try and keep it together. This, of course, is picking up from where the previous episode left off, where Jesse has a chance to have a record deal, but he has to dance, and he doesn't dance. And the big question is, will he be able to go through with it? And of course, as I said, there are spoilers. I will answer what happens there. I don't have too many notes, to be perfectly honest. I don't have a lot to say, but that in no way is a reflection of how much I enjoyed this episode. I mean, to be fair, the first 15 minutes or so are decent. They're good, and I'll talk about what happens in a second. But it's those last kind of 4 or 5 minutes. They're just so beautiful. And I challenge any Full House fan to watch it, to watch those final few minutes without crying. It's absolutely stunning. And I'm really glad it's not the series finale. We still have several more seasons. But had that been the final episode, it would have been absolutely stunning. So I'll talk about Jesse, of course, in a moment. We also have a couple of subplots. One involves Michelle. She's trying to raise enough money for her ant farm because at the moment she just has a lollipop in a jar with all of the ants in it. And we get this, it's a fabulous close-up of Michelle looking through the jar at the lollipop. But it's disgusting. It's absolutely horrific. And Joy is helping her make lemonade so she can sell the lemonade for 10 cents to raise money for her ant farm. And I feel like they could have charged a little bit more than 10 cents, especially since she was only asking her family to buy the lemonade. But nevertheless, Danny buys some lemonade, and he doesn't have change of $1, so he gives her the $1. Michelle puts it in her money pot, turns around, and on the back of her, she's wearing like a sandwich board, and on the back it says no change, which I thought was pretty funny. So I rather enjoyed that part of the narrative. I thought it worked really well. Definitely good fun. DJ and Kimmy also have a bit of time in this episode because Kimmy is not allowed to go on the school trip to Spain unless she passes her Spanish class, which is fair enough. So DJ helps her study. And again, it's a nice part of the narrative. It definitely provides some padding surrounding Jesse's story. It helps to bring the other characters in. And I love Kimmy. She's fantastic. And I'll come back to Kimmy when we get towards the end of the episode. And then, of course, we have Jesse. And we get to see the initial idea for the music video, and I have to say, it wasn't a great idea. I don't think it would have worked very well. And I'm glad that Jesse really stood up for what he believed in and what he knew would be the right thing to do and pushed back on this and realised that this wasn't the way to go if he wanted his career. And he ends up basically saying, no, this is not how it's going to work. And he then gets to do things his way. And this is where I get ridiculously emotional. So right towards the end of the episode, Kimmy comes in. She's passed her Spanish test. She's going to Spain. It's an absolute joy. And we don't get a chance to come down from that high. Granted, it's not a tremendous high, but obviously it's a great moment. And then Jesse gathers everybody around the television. And I think, and I could be wrong, but I think this is the first time we've had the entire cast, all of the characters, including Comet and Nicky and Alex and Kimmy, all in one shot. I could be wrong, it might have happened before, but I'm pretty confident that this is the first time we've had Danny, Jesse, Joey, Stephanie, DJ, Michelle, Nicky and Alex, Kimmy and Comet all in the frame. And it got emotional from that point, and then we watched Jesse on television talking about his new single, his new record, and then we get to see the video for Forever, and John Stamos is singing it, and it's just, there's something about the line, "I've been so happy loving you," that just absolutely breaks me every single time, and I don't know why, but I felt the same way when I first watched this. It must be about 4, maybe coming up for 5 years since the first time I watched Full House. It was one of my pandemic shows that I binge watched during lockdown, and I remember having an emotional response then. And that was before I built up such a strong emotional attachment to the characters. So obviously watching it now, it crumbles me a little bit, quite a lot actually. And it's just so stunning and so beautiful. And the video was gorgeous, and it's beautiful. As I said, I'm glad it's not the final season, but had that been the end of the show, it would have been a beautiful way to end things. But I'm glad we have a couple more seasons to go. And just the image of everybody together around watching the television, there to support Jessie, and then the beautiful emotional song and the gorgeous vocal performance. I love it. I absolutely love it. Captain Video Part 2 is a really beautiful episode of Full House, and needless to say, a really strong way of ending the fifth and I was going to say the fifth and final season of Full House. It isn't the final season. The next episode, I won't say what happens in case you're not there yet if you are watching along with me, but the sixth season has a pretty interesting start. Captain Video Part 2, solid episode to the fifth season of Full House. I absolutely love forever, and I can't get enough of it.